Episode 212.
Without a word, Han Li slapped the storage pouch at his waist. In an instant, over a dozen blinding beams of gold, black, and red light shot into the sky. They hovered briefly above his head, then, with a low rumble, surged straight toward his opponent.
Han Li had no intention of catching up with him.
Qing Wen and senior brother Wang on the other side both turned pale at the sight of Han Li's overwhelming display of power.
So Han Li truly lives up to his reputation. No wonder he's slain so many Foundation establishment cultivators. He's extraordinary indeed.
As for that Qing Wen Taoist, a cautious expression settled on his face, and a faint layer of green light shimmered around his body.
Seeing Han Li strike so ruthlessly, he knew the man had murder in his heart. He wasn't about to just stand there and die.
Without wasting words, he simply raised his hand as the magic tool approached. 5 green orb-shaped magic tools flew from his palm, instantly hovering around him in a pentagonal formation. Then, with a flash of green light, a hazy emerald glow enveloped Qing Wen Taoist, and a pentagonal prism barrier materialized around him, shielding him completely. In an instant, a riot of colors burst forth as Han Li's golden axe, purple mother blade, black dragon snatch, and flame chain fork all struck the green prism at once. Yet after a blinding flash of light, that bizarre barrier remained utterly unscathed.
Han Li, my Greenwood True Barrier can only be broken by a core formation cultivator. A Foundation establishment cultivator can't scratch it. You might as well give up.
I wouldn't be so sure.
Then Han Li made a hand seal and abruptly pulled back. The magic tools that had been fiercely attacking the ring of cyan light let out a long, piercing shriek as they all shot into the sky, converging in midair. This scene left the Azure Script Taoist stunned, unsure of Han Li's intentions.
But he was a wily old fox himself. No way he'd let Han Li cast his spell without a fight. In an instant, both his hands flashed with light, revealing 2 gleaming golden rings radiating a chilling aura, clearly no ordinary items. Without a moment's hesitation, Priest Qing Wen hurled the rings. They transformed into 2 streaks of golden light, shooting straight at Han Li. Han Li's brows shot up. His hand clamped onto the white scale shield, murder in his eyes. But before he could throw the white scale shield, 3 streaks of green light, over 10 feet long, suddenly shot in from one side, intercepting the 2 golden beams mid-flight and tangling with them.
You damned Taoist. Have you forgotten who I am?
That senior brother Wang, while directing the green light, shot Han Li a friendly smile. Seeing this, Han Li felt a wave of relief and returned the smile. Qing Wen the Taoist, however, was not nearly as composed as the 2 of them. His face clouded over and his gaze began to flicker uneasily. But for the moment, he was out of options. After all, simultaneously controlling the verdant wood true illumination and the locking gold ring had already consumed the bulk of his spiritual sense. He hadn't studied the great derivation art like Han Li had, so there was no way he could manipulate so many magic tools at once and still stay relaxed. So, despite still having some capable magic tools on him, he dared not use them lightly. Pouring all one's spiritual sense into controlling magic tools, that was a cultivator's cardinal taboo. Because of this, the magic tool's owner would be unable to notice the danger approaching them. Just as the Qing Wen Taoist hesitated, uncertain whether to try another approach, Han Li had already completed his spell.
Giant sword art.
The moment Han Li's voice fell, every magic tool hovering above the Taoist Qing Wen erupted with blinding radiance. As the myriad colors merged, they coalesced into a colossal light sword, a blade woven from gold, black, and crimson. The light sword hung in the air, a full 10 zhang in size, truly astonishing in its enormity. This giant sword technique, the method of controlling the flying sword, was something Han Li had found on the golden leaf that recorded the complete azure edge sword radiance. It was also the only sword controlling technique he could use at his Foundation establishment stage. Naturally, its power was extraordinary.
Though Qingwen Taoist and senior brother Wang's magic tools were still locked in combat, both of them wore expressions of shock. After all, even an idiot could see the sheer power of Han Li's technique. Qingwen Dashi was inwardly cursing his luck. Abandoning the 2 golden rings for now, he suddenly flipped his hands, producing a gleaming bronze mirror. At that moment, Han Li's face was a mask of frost as he pointed at the massive light sword. The giant blade descended from the heavens in utter silence, cleaving downward with the breathtaking momentum of a single stroke meant to shatter both mirror and man alike.
Witnessing this, senior brother Wang forgot to seize the moment while Qingwen was distracted and destroy his opponent's magic tool. He too stared at the colossal sword as it descended, his gaze growing distant and lost.
If that sword comes down, could I even withstand it?
Taoist Qingwen's expression turned gravely serious. He quickly tossed the bronze mirror upward, where it shot above the light barrier. With a flash of yellow light, it spat out a cloud of yellow mist the size of a jang, shielding the area above Qingwen. In the blink of an eye, it solidified into a massive copper shield, spinning endlessly above his head.
Han Li's expression darkened. He clenched his hand seals, and the massive light sword roared with thunderous might, its descent growing even more fearsome. In that instant, the sword came crashing down upon the copper shield with a thunderous explosion. The copper shield blazed with a fierce yellow light, but under the giant sword's brutal strike, it held for only a moment, before letting out a mournful cry and shattering into pieces. With nothing left to block it, the light sword descended without a moment's pause, slamming into the cyan prism with a grinding, oppressive roar. Seeing the terrifying power of this mysterious giant sword, Qingwen's expression finally showed signs of panic. His hands flashed with green light as he quickly parted them and pressed them against the barrier walls on either side, then frantically channeled spiritual power inward, trying to reinforce the Greenwood True Barrier's defenses.
The 3-colored radiance from the giant sword resonated with the azure barrier below, and a series of crackling explosions began to ring out. With Qingwen's desperate assistance, the azure wood True Barrier actually managed to hold back the light sword's descending strike. So now Han Li and Qingwen worked in tandem, one driving a spell to shatter the light shield with his giant sword, the other pouring spiritual power into it, each determined to settle an old score.
The other frantically poured spiritual power into the barrier, trying to hold out until the enemy's deadly technique ran its course just to survive.
It was then that senior brother Wang finally snapped to attention. In a few swift moves, he shattered the 2 golden ring artifacts and, commanding the 3 green light artifacts, charged fiercely at priest Qingwen.
Han Li and his opponent are at a stalemate right now. All I need to do is tip the scales a little, and I'll be the final straw that breaks them. If I can easily kill this blood servant with decent magic power, I can also rightfully claim a good share of the treasures on him.
At that thought, senior brother Wang's heart burned even hotter.
But just as he was lost in his daydream, and Qingwen's face twisted in alarm, a flash of yellow light streaked past Qingwen's side like lightning. Then the Taoist vanished from his spot in an instant. Han Li's tri-colored light swords came down, but they only struck the ground, carving a massive pit over 10 feet deep. Senior brother Wang's 3 green beams also missed their mark, landing harmlessly on the ground. He whirled around, fury and shock twisting his face, and stared in the direction the yellow light had vanished. There, 20-odd zhang away, the Taoist Qingwen stood within his protective barrier, and beside him had appeared a young man from Yellow Mountain.
He saved my life once, so I can't just let you kill him so easily. Ah, Brother Han, I never thought we'd meet again. Wu Juju greets you.
This utterly nonchalant young man was none other than Wu Juji, the very same junior cultivator who had once tried to ambush Han Li only to have his scheme seen through on the spot. But now a faint, strange yellow light emanated from him, and his cultivation was at the early foundation establishment stage.
9 Finger, those 4 are on a different path. Why waste words? Now that you're here, the four of us can finally fight without holding back.
Priest Qingwen finally recovered from the earlier peril and shot Han Li a look of pure malice.
Wu Juji sighed at that and said nothing more to Han Li. Qingwen let out a laugh, 2 short beats, then 1 long. Under the siege of Lu Jing and the others, Ti Luo and Bing Yao heard this and their faces lit up with surprise. They immediately leaped out of the battle circle and flew over to Qingwen. What's this? Another one showed up. This is going to be trouble.
Lu Jing frowned at the sudden appearance of Wu Juji.
Just moments ago, the 5 of them had been locked in combat with those 2 blood servants, unable to land a single decisive blow, only barely holding the upper hand. Now that the 4 of them were together, they were naturally even harder to deal with. With that thought, Lu Jing gave a cautious call, and the others gathered around Han Li and his companion. Han Li stared at Wu Juji, who had just appeared across from him, and found himself at a loss for words. He had once held such fondness for that clever, mischievous boy, but now, fate had twisted its threads, forcing them to stand as enemies locked in a fight to the death. Qingwen and the other blood warriors understood that relying on ordinary magic tools and spells against Han Li and his group gave them little chance of victory. After all, Yellow Maple Valley had the numbers. 2 against 1 was more than enough.
The moment the 4 of them gathered together at Qingwen's shout, a blood-red light erupted from their bodies, instantly transforming them into blood-colored cocoons of varying sizes as they began their demonic transformation.
It seemed they intended to wipe out Han Li and the others right here and now.
The moment Lu Jing and the other Yellow Maple Valley cultivators saw this, they recalled the demonic transformation Han Li had described. Without hesitation, they unleashed their magic tools and spells upon the 4 light cocoons. Before they could break free and transform, these blood warriors made for excellent stationary targets. Naturally, they wouldn't pass up such a chance to strike back.
But alas, just as Han Li had said, those light clusters were each as tough as nails. Even after a storm of attacks, they still stood there, completely unscathed.
Lu Jing and the others were starting to look grim.
Don't hold back. Use your ultimate moves now before they transform.
With that, Lu Jing immediately withdrew his magic tool, solemnly produced a golden talisman, and held it between 2 fingers. He began to chant, and as the mysterious incantation filled the air, the talisman gradually emitted a dazzling golden light.
Han Li felt a chill run down his spine.
Though he couldn't tell what rank that talisman was, the fact that even Lu Jing, a mid-stage Foundation establishment cultivator, needed an incantation to activate it made it clear this was no ordinary talisman. The others exchanged a glance, then each began to display their own abilities.